Okay, these are comma rules 1 through 6. So rule 1A is the easy one. Use commas to separate items in a series of 3 or more. So if you notice, carrots, comma, pasta, optional comma, and all other messy foods. The comma right before the and is always going to be optional. Just like this one, baby learned to eat with her hands, comma, throw food on the floor, optional comma, and make a huge mess for her mama. So with the optional comma, just make sure you are being consistent with its use. Either use it or don't use it, just always do the same thing. Rule 1B is for independent clauses in a series. They can be separated by commas if they're short, which is 4 words or less. But if they're long independent clauses of 5 words or more, use semicolons to separate, and an independent clause, just to review, is a part of a sentence that has subject and verb and can stand alone as a complete thought. So here's an example. We talked, we walked, we laughed, optional comma, and we sang. So independent clauses, but they're short. Here are long independent clauses that have semicolons in between. This is not an optional semicolon. You need that there. So if they're long independent clauses in a series, you need to use that last semicolon before the and. Rule 2, if you have back-to-back adjectives modifying a noun, make sure you put a comma between them. So small and green are both adjectives modifying the word creatures, so you put a comma in between the 2 adjectives. Okay. Rule 3 is to use commas to separate independent clauses if they're joined by a conjunction. Okay, unless the clauses are short, then it's optional. Okay, but if there are 5 words or more, okay, independent clauses joined by a conjunction, and you can remember the conjunctions by the acronym FANBOYS, stands for and, nor, but, or, yet, and so. So if you have 2 independent clauses joined by one of those words, put a comma in between. Here's an example. Okay, these comma rules are quite boring. Comma, yet, they are so very important. So independent clause on this side, we have a fanboys word and another independent clause, so you always put the comma before the fanboys word. Okay, here, and that's my husband, by the way, pretty. Okay, here's another one. The picture is ugly, yet the shorts are cute. Okay, again, 2 independent clauses joined by a fanboys word. However, they're short independent clauses of 4 words or less, so that's an optional comma there. You can put the comma there and it wouldn't be wrong, but you don't have to. So again, be consistent with your optional comma usage. Okay, rule 3 you have to be careful with, because you want to make sure that on both sides of your fanboys word, they're both actually independent clauses, and this is the problem I see in your writing a lot of the times. So became nauseated in return. That's not a complete thought. It's not an independent clause. It can't stand alone. So we do not have a comma here. Okay, so be careful. It has to have 2 independent clauses to put a comma. Okay, rule 4, if you have non-essential clauses or non-essential participle phrases, which mean they're not needed in the sentence, then you set them off with commas. Okay, here are 2 examples. Okay, the first example, you don't have any commas, so that means everything's needed in the sentence. So employees make the job seem easier. Okay, you need to know which employees. So the clause, who always have a ready smile, those are the ones that make the job seem easier. So that is needed in the sentence, so that's why there's not comma surrounding it. But in this sentence, her new shirt is in her favorite color. Okay, she only has 1 shirt, so who cares that it was a birthday gift? So that is a non-essential clause, which is why you put commas around it. So anything with commas, it means you could basically pull it out of the sentence, and the sentence is fine without it. Okay, what is a participle phrase? Just as review, it's a verbal phrase. So it looks like a verb ending in either ing or ed, okay, but it acts as an adjective. So here we have the money lying on the dresser is yours. Okay, lying on the dresser looks like a verb, lying, but it's acting as an adjective modifying the word money. Okay, in this case, that is an essential clause, or that is an essential phrase, so we don't have commas around it. Okay, not all the money is yours, just the money that I have on the dresser, that's what's yours. So no commas around it means it's needed in the sentence. Okay, essential and non-essential participle phrases. So here's just some more examples for you to see this in use. So my baby brother climbed into my lap. Okay, so woohoo, the brother climbed into the lap. That's all I need. Okay, frightened by thunder is kind of beside the point, so that's why it's surrounded in commas, and you could pull it out of the sentence. But this one, a child often needs reassurance. Okay, that's not true of all children. It's just true of the children frightened by thunder. So that's why you don't have commas there, because you need that in the sentence. Okay, Rule 5, introductory words. When they begin a sentence, put a comma after it. So any of these words basically don't function within the sentence, so you set it off. So what do you think? Okay, that's all you need to know for that sentence. The well part doesn't function, so stick a comma after it. Same thing with yes. You are welcome to join us is fine on its own, so stick a comma after the introductory word. Okay, and finally, rule number 6, use a comma after an introductory participle phrase. Again, participle phrase looks like a verb, acts as an adjective, and introductory means it's in the beginning of the sentence. So here we have, that's me when I was skinny, there's my hubby. So acting like weirdos, comma, they stood upon the piece of driftwood. So acting like weirdos looks like a verb, acts as an adjective modifying the pronoun they. So put a comma after it. And one more, why wouldn't you place a comma after this intro phrase? So look, it looks like a participle, it ends in ing, okay? Cleaning and painting my room was hard but fun. Okay, this is not a participle phrase. It's not acting as an adjective. It's not modifying a noun. Instead, it's acting as the subject of the sentence, so that's actually called a gerund phrase. And gerunds are needed in the sentence because they're a noun, so no comma after it is needed. Okay, so you only set off things that aren't needed in the sentence with commas. And that is it for today.